What is up, everyone? It's your boy NornRad89 here, bringing you another video today. And for today's video, we are going to be going over the films that I watched over January. A lot of them aren't like brand new films. Some are, but then I actually went back and watched some like old school 80s stuff that I haven't seen. So today, we're going to run through the list of, like I said, all the stuff I watched in January and like real quick thoughts on how I felt and all that kind of stuff about these films. So stay tuned to the video. And if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. So January has been a pretty cool month for me. I've seen some really good films and then some that are not that great. Well, actually one that kind of bothered me. That wasn't that great. Everything else I saw so far I see on this list is pretty legit. And then there's one that I returned to and I was like, still wasn't feeling it. But let's go through it. To this month, I actually did see Ghostbusters Afterlife. That was a really good callback. I really did enjoy that film. To me, it's probably flirts with Ghostbusters 2 in terms of which one is better, but Ghostbusters Afterlife I thought was really good. The young cast is cool. There's just some cast members that kind of get put aside, and like our mother character and like they kind of get put aside. Like there's one main focus, and I think one of our characters you could have probably got rid of and maybe it just been about her, and it still would have been just as fine. But it's still a really good movie, got a lot of good callbacks. We do get a little far when we get into the ending scene. There's some stuff that happens in like the last 10 minutes that I really didn't need that for it to be as potent. The film was already hitting that, nostalgia factor really heavy, and we didn't really need it. I think that last 10 minutes, it pushed it a little too far, but I still did have a good time with the film. Probably like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 for me on Ghostbusters Afterlife. Another one I caught this month, Titane, and damn, like that, I must say, is a freaking legit movie for real. I forgot her. I don't know how to say her last name, and I don't really want to butcher it. But our director Julia Duconar, I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name, but she's a good new director. She has a movie on Netflix called Raw. I recommend checking that out if you're into body horror. Like Titane, this is a body horror film, and it's not a film that's for everybody. But I'm telling you right now, this film is legit as shit. Like I wish that I watched this film before I did my top 10 of 2021, because Titane would have easily been number 5 or number 6. It was really good. The acting is so potent, and it's like one of those films that really is emotional and raw, and you feel like you're there in the scenes. And even though they're like kind of disgusting or the body horror is gross, it does feel like you're there, and I really do like that. Films that make you uncomfortable, I'm down for. Like those films are some of the best, because it's like they're able to come out of the screen and really reach you in a different way. Another one I caught, I actually watched on the first day of this month, and it was on my top 10 of 2021, and that was Pig with Nicolas Cage. Still, if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend checking it out. One of Nicolas Cage's best performances easily. Like I said, that whole film, the writing, the character development is also some of the best that you're going to get out of all of last year's films, for real. It was really good. But on to one that did upset me. This film pissed me off. There was a point in this film that I have it right here, like circled. There was a point in this film that I was like, nah, this film almost lost me. I almost quit on this film, but I did stick through it all the way, and that's Nightmare Alley. And I found out at the end of the film, after I watched everything, that it was directed by Guillermo del Toro. I did not know that, and holy shit, this movie fucking sucks. Like, for real. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Okay, it's the most contrived, dumbest thing I've ever seen, and like it takes its time. And I was like, for the first like 20 minutes I'm on board. For the first 25 minutes I was on board. We're following Bradley Cooper, learning some stuff. He gets involved with the circus. We're meeting all these characters, and it's like, I thought that was the feel. It had a kind of almost like an American Horror Story freak show vibe, but much more subtle film noir status. And then once we leave the circus and he ventures off with Rooney Mara and they get into their stuff, and then he meets the other woman character in the film, just everything that ensues after that freaking sucks. Like, I for real almost gave up on this movie. About an hour and a half in, I almost gave up on this movie. And it's a certain scene when Bradley Cooper is talking to this therapist woman character, and he's sitting down, and he has this one line when he's looking at her because he's going to leave her like a bunch of money to hide for him. It's just, oh, dude, once he delivered this certain line and he said it to her, I was like, oh my God, I almost quit on it. But I stuck through all the way and found out that it was directed by Guillermo del Toro. And I probably haven't seen his whole entire filmography, I don't think. but I could easily tell you this is probably one of his worst movies. Like, don't waste your time. Do not waste your life 2 hours and a half watching Nightmare Alley. It's just horrible. You're better off watching The Prestige. Go freaking watch The Prestige. Other film I watched, though, we're going to get onto a good path now. Five Cream, Scream 2022. I also watched Scream 4 this month as well, actually, after Five Cream. So that kind of enhanced my love for Scream 4. I was like, it was pretty cool watching that after Scream 5. But Scream 2022 is a banger for sure. Easily, to me, still is my second favorite to the first one. I can't wait to watch that film again. I might actually pre-order it because they have pre-orders right now you can get for the special edition Blu-rays or Steelbooks already. So I might end up scooping one of those up if I get a chance. And like I said, I watched Scream 4, but I've also been diving into, I have them right here, the Texas Chainsaw films. Over the last few weeks, I've been watching some of the Texas Chainsaw films, kind of freshening up, getting ready for the new one that's coming out on February 18th. This month, I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation and 3D. And for Texas Chainsaw Next Generation, this is one that I remember it being a lot more hardcore. I do. Like, I haven't watched this one in probably about 4 or 5 years, and I remember it being a lot more hardcore than it did when I watched it. And this is the one that has Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in it, so it's kind of funny that we have two amazing Oscar award-winning actors in this franchise. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, it's just a lack of Leatherface, a very screamy Leatherface, and even the scenes, the disruptional family function scenes, like when they're at the dinner, it's just like everybody's screaming and yelling. And yeah, Matthew McConaughey, like you to watch this movie, you really have to be a Matthew McConaughey lover, I think, because he does put in a good performance. Like, it is amazing. He is bombastic and crazy and wild, and I think just to watch it for his performance, it's good just to watch it at least one time. But this is probably one, like I said, for Texas Chainsaw Next Generation, I was always a little bit on, like, I don't hate this film. Like Nightmare Alley, I freaking hate that movie. Texas Chainsaw Next Generation, I don't hate it. It's just it could be so much better. I really think it could have been a lot better, but it's still an okay average film. And Texas Chainsaw 3D is just a movie that has no idea what time it's in, but I got two words for you: Alexandria Daddario. That's another. It's kind of funny. Like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, you're gonna watch that for McConaughey. Texas Chainsaw 3D, you're gonna watch it for Alexandria Daddario, because that, oh my God, she's amazing. I can't believe they got her to be in this film, which was kind of funny. She never even seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre when she went to do this film. So, it's just 3D is like a fun, like, silly time. Like, if you could really shut your brain off and ignore the fact that, like, these kids are the wrong age and there's cell phones in it when it should be only, so it's like weird, and it's 2012, but then all these people, like, the age doesn't match up. It's like, it's a movie that really doesn't have the right continuity. But if you could kind of look past all that crap, you could still have a fun, enjoying time with this film. It's much more gorier than Next Generation. It's got a better Leatherface performance, I think, than Next Generation as well. So there are some adoring factors about Texas Chainsaw 3. I also watched a couple episodes of the Peacemaker TV show. I haven't dived into every episode. I watched the first 2 episodes of Peacemaker, and I'm still on board with it. I think it's cool that they got James Gunn back to do some of these episodes and write and direct the show, because it definitely carries on that feel from the Suicide Squad movie. And I think John Cena, he's slowly more and more winning me over as the Peacemaker character. I think he's just hilarious. He's got a lot of good range. And for me, like, some people, they don't like his comedy or like his acting at all, but I'm slowly growing into him. Another one I watched is an old school Michael J. Fox film that I haven't seen in probably over a decade, and that's Class of '84. And damn, I forgot how gruesome this movie was. Michael J. Fox was in a movie. They have killing in here. They have rape. They have some crazy stuff going on in this movie, and I totally forgot about this. There's a scene where Michael J. Fox actually gets, like, if you haven't seen it, sorry, spoilers warning. Michael J. Fox actually gets, like, shanked in a cafeteria. Like, I forgot about this movie because, like I said, it's been like 10 or 12 years since I've seen it, and damn, I watched this one. I was so glad to return to this one because it's funny returning to old school 80s movies, especially after watching a lot of movies that have come out now. It seems like a lot of directors now are going back to the 80s and kind of pulling ideas from films back then and trying to make films now, and it just seems that way. And I think it's funny too, because in the 80s, films were only like about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, and for some reason, some way, they were able to pack in more character development and more story in those films than films out now that are 2 hours or 2 hours and a half that suck and have no character development. It baffles my mind how 80s films are able to do that. But like I said, there are glorious gems. That's why I like returning to old school films a lot. But thanks for sticking around with me, all as we chatted through some of the films that I watched and the TV shows that I've been watching for January of this year. February, now we're in February. The most eager thing I'm waiting for is Texas Chainsaw easily. I can't wait for that one on Netflix. So don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and stick to the channel so you don't miss a thing, and breeze through my playlist because I got a lot of other stuff you can check out. Thanks for sticking around, y'all. Have a safe and happy day. Peace out.